It's like, okay, do I want me to relearn this?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call to order the regular Board of Trustees meeting for Tuesday, November 25th, 2025. Will you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Clerk, will you call the roll, please?
Mayor Karsbeck.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Murphy.
Here.
Trustee Hardy.
Yes.
Trustee Albrecht.
Here.
Trustee Wing.
Here.
Trustee Ayers.
Here.
Trustee Brody.
Here. Excellent. We have a full board tonight. Next on our agenda is citizen participation. This is the chance for anyone in the audience tonight to speak to something that is not on tonight's agenda. We have no one signed up at this time. We'll just move on now to consent. Would trustees like anything removed from consent?
I have a quick question on one, and I would like one item removed.
All right. You go for the question one first, yeah.
Just on the shares of the water, the Bros and the other name, is that a total of 2 shares, or is that 2 shares from each of them? I wasn't 100% sure.
I can get that question answered. Yeah. Alex from our water department's here to answer those.
Well, let's just pull it real quick.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure,
okay. So what was the other one you want to pull?
The other one is F.
F. Okay, so we'll pull items E and F. Anything else, trustees? All right, is there a motion to approve consent minus items D and F?
I'd make a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, trustee Wing has moved. Trustee Ayers is seconded. Clerk, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Trustee Wing.
Yes.
Trustee Hardy.
Yes.
Trustee Ayers.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Murphy.
Yes.
Trustee Albrecht.
Yes.
Trustee Brody.
Yes.
Mayor Karsbeck.
Yes, excellent. Items removed from consent will be considered next. So we'll start out with the contract to purchase the Bros Handy Water Shares. Thank you.
Yep. Yep. Good evening, Mayor Karsbeck and the rest of the Board of Trustees. What's the question?
So I just wasn't sure if the 2 shares is the total of the 2 entities, or if it's 2 shares from each one of them.
2 shares each.
So it's 4 shares total.
Correct.
And then my second question is, just approximate, how many homes could be supplied by a share of water, ballpark?
So 1 share of Handy is, we calculate a firm yield of about 4.5 or so acre feet. That, for the 4 shares at that firm yield, that's about 18 acre feet or 45 homes.
Oh, great. Total?
Correct.
For
Yeah,
the
for all 4 shares. And
Excellent.
that's a low end. The average yield per share is likely going to be higher than that, but for purposes of water dedication,
Thank you
that's
very
what-
much.
Yep, you're welcome.
Great question.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the contract to purchase the Bros Handy Water Shares?
I would make that motion to
Is there a
approve.
second?
Second.
All right, trustee Wing has moved on this, and trustee Ayers has seconded. Clerk, can we have a roll call vote on D?
Trustee Hardy.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Murphy.
Yes.
Trustee Wing.
Yes.
Trustee Brody.
Yes.
Trustee Albrecht.
Yes.
Trustee Ayers.
Yes.
Mayor Karsbeck.
Yes. And finally, the City Star Brewing facade improvement alteration request.
Yeah, we've just been challenged on so many things lately, and quite frankly, I'm just a little gun shy. So when I see the applicant has initiated work prior to receiving approval by the town board, I just wonder if we should go through the proper process and approve that. I know they went to the historical committee and felt they were okay moving forward, but again, I guess I'm just asking for some feedback from the other folks.
Any other thoughts on this?
I guess just clarification from staff on the process would be great.
Absolutely. And Bella's here tonight too to help you
Thank you.
work through that as well. So I appreciate that. Yeah.
Good question.
Hello, Mayor Karsbeck and trustees. Happy to provide a little bit of extra context. So the applicant came to HPAC and presented their application for major alterations. The HPAC ultimately voted to recommend approval to the town board of trustees, and the applicant, in error, believed that that was their final approval, so then they began the work. They did recognize that they had done so in error, let me know right away that they had stopped, and then was open to, halting work until trustees could approve or deny or, make the final decision on that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
application.
That's not how I read it. I read it. They
Oh.
were continuing on and they were finishing it even without board approval. So they're waiting for
Oh,
board
no,
approval
yes.
then.
They've waited on building permits. They've halted
Oh,
work.
great. Okay.
Yeah.
That is
Yep.
good to know. Okay, thank
Great.
you.
Of course.
So they were notified and then they stopped, which is important. I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they've stopped until they're getting approval, right?
Yes, that's
Yeah,
correct.
perfect. Thank you. That's
Yeah,
great.
of course. Of course.
All in order.
All right. Is there a motion to approve the City Star Brewing facade improvement alteration request?
I'll make the motion to approve it.
All right. Is there a second?
Second. Nope. Go ahead.
All right. Trustee Wing has moved on this. Trustee Ayers has seconded. Clerk, can we have a roll call vote on F?
Trustee Albrecht,
Yes.
Trustee Wing,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Murphy,
Yes.
Trustee Ayers,
Yes.
Trustee Brody,
Yes.
Trustee Hardy,
Yes.
Mayor Karspeck.
Yes. Thank you. Excellent. Good questions. We can move on now to number 2, which is an adoption of the 2025 Engineering Infrastructure Design Standards and Construction Specifications by reference. We have our Community Development Director, Ann Johnson, here.
Thank you, Mayor Karspeck and members of the Town Board of Trustees. Items number 2 and 3 on your agenda will be presented under this one PowerPoint this evening. Also with us this evening is Luke Sieber, the Engineering Development Review Manager. So the engineering and infrastructure design standards and construction specifications have been lovingly and diligently scrubbed for the past 2.5, 3 years. And Luke has been working on those and now is bringing those to final presentation this evening. Because we reference these, there are 2 other documents that also need to be scrubbed or minor modifications made. The first one is you see in red font on your screen. This is Chapter 30, which you made a major amendment to on the 10th of November. You have a very minor amendment to make this evening. It is just updating 2025. That is the only change to Chapter 30 of the Municipal Code that you are considering this evening. Then the other update is in the comprehensive plan. There are conflicts to the road section and profiles to what is in the engineering, construction, and specification standards. So we would like to insert a slip sheet into the comprehensive plan that just references the ordinance and the date, and the ordinance XX number will be changed with the correct ordinance number there. And the slip sheet will just be inserted into the comprehensive plan to let people know and developers know. Just take a look at our specifications and standards. Don't rely on what's in that comp plan. Please take a look at the specs and standards first. Just again, for clarity, there's a lot of confusion with the development community. There's inconsistencies. So that's the only change to the comp plan. So Land Use Code 2025, Comprehensive Plan, slip sheet. And I'm going to have Luke give you an overview of what those specifications and standards, what those changes are. And I don't know if anybody from Water Department is here to... Okay, Luke can answer questions from the operations team if they have any questions for you this evening. All right, thank you, Luke.
All right. Good evening, Mayor and trustees. I will, I believe you've all got a copy of kind of a summary of the changes, but I'll give you a more brief summary. One of the major items was to bring this document into the 21st century with clickable links and bookmarks for all the chapters and sections of the document, because it was a pretty tedious document to work your way through if you're a developer. So that was probably the biggest change overall. Other than that, we updated any outdated or incorrect references, made sure all tables and figures were correctly referenced in the text, tried to catch as many punctuation and spelling errors as we could. It's a pretty big document, so I'm just crossing my fingers on that one. And then more specifically in the chapters, chapter 1 just had some minor narrative changes on general provisions. Then chapter 200, we tried to simplify things by removing any documents like landscaping and irrigation that are covered in other sections of the code or other documents to try to streamline what this document is for. We added sections for tracer wire and MS4 requirements that weren't previously in as part of state requirements. And chapter 300, the street and roadway design, as Ann mentioned, the street typical sections, so how the lanes and sidewalks and parkways are laid out, the widths and stuff, were pretty hard for developers to find out where to go because we do follow the Larimer County street standards, but we also have many special overlay districts that have their own sections. So I just clarified all the different documents that could be required when someone's developing an area for their frontage improvements. Chapter 400 is the sanitary sewer, and we recently, within the past couple months, hired a new water operations manager who was able to go through and kind of make sure everything was up to code and up to modern day codes. And probably one of the big requirements we've added that we have required developers to do but is now in the standards is that along section lines there needs to be a larger trunk sewer line for which allows for future development, put something under the road so it wouldn't have to get torn up again in the future, kind of like is going on in County Line Road right now. In the water, same. There is a requirement for a larger water line along section lines, and then also a lot more kind of specific details for construction for what type of materials and fixtures and equipment contractors should use for our water lines so the construction will be consistent throughout town. Chapter 600 is the stormwater standards. In this, we added some MS4 requirement stuff, which MS4 is the municipal separate storm sewer system, which is basically we want to ensure that that's going into our storm sewers is treated. So we are just getting that codified. We've been enforcing it, but just having it in the standards now. And then a new section we added is for sump pump design requirements because groundwater is an issue throughout town, and it's something that we don't want people sending their sump pumps out over sidewalks, which has happened fairly frequently. I mean, it's kind of hard to avoid in older neighborhoods, but we want to ensure in new neighborhoods that doesn't ever happen. And it either needs to connect to a subdrain or drainage easements adjacent to the properties. Let's see. Chapter 700, dry and non-town utilities. Just main thing here is we added a section referencing the Larimer County street light standards as well as our code dark sky requirements. I believe street lights are actually exempted from the dark sky, but they are mentioned in the code, so made sure they're all referenced in there. Subdivision improvement standards is a chapter helping the developers understand our development process from an engineering standpoint, from pre-construction through the development construction phase and final closeout. And then the construction specifications did not have many major changes, but it was a formatting nightmare, to say the least. So that one took a long time to get cleaned up and is finally usable. And finally, the standard details. Our new water operations manager added a few updates to clarify some of the details that may have been a little less specific than we wanted to previously. And I think that is it. If you have any more specific questions,
Any
please
questions?
fire away.
Good.
Thanks for all the clean work.
Thank you.
Yeah, really. Okay. That was an intro on that, right?
Yes, this is the introduction.
Okay. And so we can move on to the adoption of the amendment to the comp plan.
Yes, and that was introduced at the same time.
Thank you very much. We did all three of these.
It is a slip sheet. Yep,
Okay.
so 2 and 3 on your agendas were introduced.
Thank you. Now we can move on to 4, the adoption of the 3 Mile Plan with the ordinance. An intro to that.
So every year, municipalities should adopt a 3 mile plan. You've seen this every year for the past 3 years. And this is our comprehensive plans urban growth boundary map. It has been updated with recent annexation history. The River Trails and the Harvest West annexations have been added in the southwestern portion of Berthoud. Other than that, this map is the same map that you've adopted in 2023, in 24, and late 24, and you're adopting it again now. This goes on file with Larimer County and it goes on file with Weld County, and it just alerts both counties this is our boundary, this is our 3 mile plan, this is our intention where our growth is going to occur, and it just puts them on notice and we're following statutory requirements. So there are no changes. It's just a matter of courtesy and a matter of following statutory requirements, and that's it.
Awesome. Trustees, questions? I feel like I should, but this is pretty straightforward. And this is also an intro, right? So this is December 9th.
It is, yep.
The only thing that came to my mind was wondering how we could present to the public this plan more standing alone, as this is the plan for Berthoud and the growth management plan, so they're not surprised by development, because it's been planned for a very long time. And that way they understand that, like, even just seeing where there's designated agriculture and those areas too, it's to show that Berthoud is saving a lot of land and doing a good job of it. So if there's a way just for staff to consider if we can help explain this map to the public as we come to understand what the future for Berthoud looks like and the controls we have on it, I think that might be helpful.
That is a great statement, and I think that when Administrator Kirk returns, there is an opportunity coming up in February with the Port Committee and Community Development working together on something of that nature, and so we will let you know
That would
a
be
little
great.
bit more.
Yeah, thank you.
Great. Well, thank you very much. Well, we can move right on number 4, the public hearing for the building code updates.
All right, here we are again. So this is the second reading of the ordinance 1365. This is the amendment to the building code, and there have been no changes to ordinance 1365, which is the building code, chapter 11 of the municipal code, since the first reading. And our building official, John Giesick, is here if you have any questions. Other than that, there is not a formal presentation plan because that was provided to you at the first reading.
Trustees, any questions for John?
One question. We received an email from the Home Builders Association of Northern Colorado. There's a lot of pages here and data here. Could you please just clarify? The letter stipulates that the recommendation is to have fire systems within each home. Is that part of this at all, or is that have nothing to do with this?
I was going to talk about that with the next agenda item with the fire code.
Oh, I apologize.
That's okay.
I thought we were on fire code. Excuse me.
Yep, not a problem.
No, I think, the input that you got from the building community was positive, and none of it seemed overburdensome to them or ridiculous. So in my mind, I think you guys did trying to update this reasonably.
Thank you. And that concludes staff's presentation.
Okay, so these are both public hearings tonight, right?
Yes,
Do
and
you want to present them both and then I'll open up to the public for both, or how do you want to do that?
if you would like to do that, I think they go together. I'm happy to then talk about Ordinance 1366, which is the fire code. Happy to do that. So, Trustee Wing, the only change to Ordinance 1366 I would like to just bring up, there is no change being presented this evening. However, the Berthoud Fire District is going to bring clarification to the adoption of the fire code to their board on December 9th, just to clarify information that was brought to their attention by Victoria Hall from the Northern Colorado Home Builders Association. Just clarifying the language that is not the intent at all. Chief Charles, Fire Marshal Carrie Dan is also here. They can share with you their perspective on that comment. It is not in the IRC, which is part of Ordinance 1365. It's excluded from that in our code. And then in January, I will bring back another ordinance to you that will be more of a formality, just acknowledging that they did remove that on December 9th. So
Thank you very much.
we've got it taken care of, and it was an oversight, and just with a minor language change, it clarifies intent. And again, Fire Chief Steve Charles is here, and he can answer any particulars about that. Again, it's very, very simple.
Would you like
That was perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have both of those. I'll just open it. Trustees, any questions for staff right now?
Nope.
All right, so I'll open it up to the public if there's anyone in the audience which wishes to speak to Ordinance 1365 or 1366. All right, seeing none, I'll close the public hearing, bring it back to the board for deliberation. Are we feeling good about both these ordinances? Municipal Code and International Fire Code?
Yes.
Okay. And let's move on them one at a time. Would anyone like to move to approve Ordinance 1365?
I'll move to approve Ordinance 1365, an ordinance amending Chapter 11 of the Municipal Code of the Town of Berthoud for the purposes of adopting the 2024 IBC by reference with amendments, the 2024 IRC by reference with amendments, the 2024 International Existing Building Code by reference with amendments, the 2024 International Energy Code by reference with amendments, the 2023 National Electrical Code by reference with amendments, the 2024 International Plumbing Code by reference with amendments, the 2024 International Mechanical Code by reference with amendments, the 2024 International Fuel Gas Code by reference with amendments, the Greywater Systems Control Colorado Regulation 86 by reference, the 2024 International Swimming Pool and Spa Code by reference with amendments, and the 2024 International Property Maintenance Code by reference with amendments.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, Mayor Pro Tem has moved. Trustee Wing has seconded. Clerk, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Trustee Wing?
Yes.
Trustee Hardy?
Yes.
Trustee Ayers?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Albrecht?
Yes.
Trustee Brody?
Yes.
Mayor Karspeck?
Yes. All right, we'd like to move on 1366.
I'll jump right in.
Okay.
I move to approve Ordinance 1366, an ordinance amending Chapter 11 of the Municipal Code of the Town of Berthoud by adopting the 2024 International Fire Code as adopted with amendments by the Berthoud Fire Protection District for the purpose of establishing minimum requirements for providing a reasonable level of life, safety, and property protection from hazards of fire.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Go ahead.
All right, Mayor Pro Tem Murphy has moved on this. Trustee Brody?
Yes.
Trustee Brody has seconded. Clerk, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Mayor Pro Tem Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Brody?
Yes.
Trustee Albrecht?
Yes.
Trustee Wing?
Yes.
Trustee Ayers?
Yes.
Trustee Hardy?
Yes.
Mayor Karspeck?
Yes. All right. We'll move on now to item number 5, which is a repeal of the vendor fee. Director Leach, are you presenting on this by chance? All right, we have our financial director, Cindy Leach, here to present on this.
Hello, everybody.
Oh,
I'll give you a brief background and purpose behind the resolution to eliminate the sales tax vendor fee. As you probably know, I'm just going to talk about birthed businesses right now. But birthed businesses collect sales tax and then they remit it to the state. The state then collects it and remits it to us. Currently, there's a 2.22% sales tax. I call it a discount. They call it a vendor fee. It's really a discount. So when you collect your sales tax and you get ready to send it in, if you send it in on time, you get to deduct 2.22% and keep that as a administrative incentive for sending in your payment on time. Earlier this year, the state voted to eliminate that from the state. Then the Larimer County also voted to eliminate the 2.22 from their portion, and they're asking us if we also want to eliminate that. We usually we kind of align ourselves with the state, so all of our exemptions, discounts, everything are the same as the state of Colorado. So the main purpose behind this is to be able to continue to align with the state. The reason why the state's wanting to do this is because it eases the administrative burden on the state of Colorado, and it's more equal to all vendors who collect any kind of sales tax.
I have a question.
Yeah, I have a couple.
Do we know how many of our local businesses take advantage of that discount currently?
I don't know how many exactly take advantage of it. It's if they pay their sales tax on time and they're selling taxable goods, which are not service products or tax exempt type things. I would think that they would take advantage of it, any retail business. I can tell you that in Berthoud, the average storefront business in Berthoud would save about $150 a year on the 2.22 of Berthoud tax.
Thank you.
Cheers.
You said one of the reasons for the state getting rid of this exemption would be that it was more fair for the different vendors. Could you clarify that? What do they mean by fair?
Because some businesses don't collect sales tax, for example, a service business, just to make it simple. So a business who is collecting sales tax off of goods gets to take a discount. They're collecting the same amount of sales tax, but then out of that sales tax, they get to keep a portion of it because they're remitting it on time. A business that is a service-oriented business doesn't get the opportunity to do that. So they're trying to say it's not fair to all businesses because some people can't take advantage of that and other people can.
Thank you.
Like more taxes.
Other questions for Director Leach?
I guess just one. I'm sorry. Is there any penalty if Bertha doesn't align with the state?
No.
Colorado?
No.
Thank you.
Is there any in the public by chance that wishes to speak to this? I just want to ensure that. All right, we have no more questions for staff right now. How do we want to go down the row here? How do you feel, Trustee Albrecht? Sorry.
It's okay. I mean, I understand the fairness aspect because other businesses can't capitalize on that opportunity. But I also understand one more thing on our businesses is a burden. And so I weigh that heavily. But I'm not sure what the best path forward is.
This used to be because there was no software for this, right? Like there was no Intuit.
You had to fill it out in paper.
Yeah, so there's compensating for your time.
I see.
Yeah, now it's all automated as you go online to the call Department of Revenue. It calculates the discount in there automatically and you pay at the bottom. It's so simple now.
Okay.
Takes
So now it's
takes
like
seconds.
that
it
big
seems
of
like
an
now versus-
administrative burden after all.
Oh yeah, way easier now.
Okay. Trustee Ayers, do you have any?
I don't really have anything to add. It's just kind of, it does seem like it's a backdoor way to raise taxes because it's an exemption that's existed for however long, and they're trying to take they quote unquote are now taking it away for an administrative burden. But if it's easier to do now, I don't understand the administrative burden, and it just seems to be an extra undue. I mean, $100 or no a year, it seems just like an extra tax that didn't exist before. That's all. I don't.
Okay.
I kind of agree with Trustee Albright.
Maybe I'm reading this wrong. So is it a tax or you're getting money back?
Me
right?
too.
No.
I agree with you.
It's not a
discount off of
tax.
What you owe.
Yeah. So what happens, what happens right now, like if they were to take this away, if you collect $1,000 in tax, your customers are paying that, and you turn around and you send that $1,000 into the state, we get our portion, they get their portion, county gets their portion. It hasn't cost the business anything. They haven't gained anything. They collected it, they sent it in. What's happening right now is collecting that and sending it in. They get to keep that 2% to help with their administrative costs for sending that in. So they're getting to keep 2% of the sales tax that they collected. They're not paying any more sales tax if we take this away. All they're doing is sending in the sales tax that they collected.
So they would be losing their refund.
They're losing their discount.
But ultimately, the state or the municipality gains that discount as well. So there's additional revenue coming into them based on this discount.
Okay.
I lose my 2 cents for every dollar.
Yeah. If this goes away, then rather than that business keeping that 2%, the whole entire amount gets sent into the municipality or the state or the county. So they are making more money. They're not making any more sales tax. They're just not giving anything back.
Right. Okay, I got you. Okay. Well, I guess we can get down the line, or we can just vote on it. Does anyone have any final thoughts?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It is a little confusing, but at the end of the day, I think what I heard you say is this actually is it's kind of counterintuitive what the words are, right? Repeal vendor fee. That sounds like a good thing for the businesses, but the last part of what you just explained, that's not.
I don't call it a fee. The state calls it a fee. They call it a vendor fee. I call it a discount.
So at the end of the day, do our businesses, are they penalized? It sounds like from what they're doing right now. Is that an accurate statement? Okay.
They don't get to keep the reward anymore. We no longer get paid to collect sales tax.
Okay.
Okay. Do we want to just?
That's how I viewed it.
Well,
as a business.
Yeah.
Paying me to collect this.
I guess I have just one more question. So what would the overall impact be to how much sales tax does let's just talk about the town of Berthoud? How much sales tax do we collect over the course of a year, and what does that 2% mean to our overall sales tax revenues? I guess that's what I'm trying to get at too.
For just retail sales tax, we collect around $750,000 a month. This would give us another $15,000 a month, approximately. And right now it's an incentive to pay your tax on time, which is due by the 20th of each month. But if you don't pay your tax on time, then you may have a penalty and interest. So the incentive to pay your tax on time without this is you're going to get penalized if you don't pay your tax on time.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah, it is. It's the fee that catches you off guard.
I think I'm the only one here that actually fills out that form.
I used to do it.
No, I
Oh,
do
you do it
it.
too, yeah.
I do it too.
For Larry.
Ultimately, it doesn't cost the consumer anymore.
No.
No.
It creates an additional 2% revenue in combination to all the municipalities, the state, the county, and the vendor collecting it's the one who loses that potential opportunity.
Yeah, it's tough to get rid of something that was kind of a nice
There
feature,
forever.
but it kind of also makes sense if the software's taking care of it. Well, let's just put it up to a vote. Would you like to move on that?
Yeah, yeah. I move for a vote.
Yeah.
I'll move for a vote.
Yeah.
Ready to vote?
Yep.
Okay. I vote no. I don't want
Oh
to.
no, good. Would someone like to move on resolution 2020-25-22? Resolution of the town of Berthoud.
Yeah, I'll move on it.
Thank you. Eliminating the sales tax benefit. Trustee Wing has made a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, Trustee Hardy is seconded. Clerk, could we have a roll call vote?
Trustee Ayers,
No.
Trustee Albrecht,
No.
Trustee Brody,
No.
Trustee Hardy,
No.
Trustee Wing,
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Murphy,
Yes.
Mayor Karsbeck.
Yes. All right. Motion fails. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I can at least say I presented it, so thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Great. We'll move on now to item number 6, tree cost share program. We have our town forester, Paul Furnace, in the back.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor, and thank you for having me, Board of Trustees.
Paul, if you go ahead and advance past the building presentation, your presentation will follow those slides.
Okay, this one was long. There we go. Cool. All right. With the help from the Tree Advisory Committee over this last year, we have been trying to, be able to help out some common issues we see within the urban canopy here in town. So one problem we see here in town, well, first off, just a little background in the code. Here in Berthoud, it is the responsibility of the adjacent property owner to maintain, replace, and care for their landscaping and their tree in their right-of-way. And we've done what we can for outreach and kind of spreading that message to all the homeowners, extending our hand in advising and giving information and doing anything we can. But one of the most common problems we see is that even with all this information, one of the most common problems is when a tree is removed, it is often not replaced. So we were thinking of how we could help out, basically ease that whatever stress that is on the property owner to, hopefully keep replacing our trees within our urban canopy. So, sorry, that looks like that got cut off there, but so basically we proposed we had a very similar program in the past that was just a straight up tree replacement program where the town staff would take applications and go out, work with the homeowner. Both the town forestry department and the homeowner would kind of collaborate on what kind of tree they would want. Ultimately, it would come down to the staff and the town's availability of having said trees. Come to an agreement, make sure the planting area, everything's good with town code and placement and everything like that. And then the town staff would actually go out and plant the tree. And that program ran for about 3 years. And this was under the previous forester Embry. And it ran for about 3 years before it just was placing a little bit too much pressure on forestry staff over the summer, having to balance all of the forestry tasks on top of going out and planting the occasional tree in front of people's houses. Kind of proved to be a little burdensome on the department. So bringing that back to the Tree Advisory Committee, we still really like that idea of partnering with homeowners and kind of showing that this is a group effort, taking care of our urban canopy. So we came together and came up with the tree cost share program. Here we propose that up to a certain amount per residence per year, the town will share the cost of planting a tree and the planting service. So a person can go out and pick any nursery they would like and any planting service they would like, or any combination therein. Basically submit to us, their plan, where they want to, what kind of tree they want to pick out, where they're going to put it. Is the site prepped? It'll be a lot of collaboration between me, the town forester, and these property owners as I'm working through these applications with them. And basically, they will submit this application. If everything looks good, and an initial before planting inspection looks good, and after an inspection after the tree is planted looks good, yes, they will be entitled to half of the tree planting and the tree cost, up to $400 once per residence per year. So basically, we just see this as like a great method for definitely sharing the responsibility. Trees that I feel like are just given out or replaced might confuse whose ownership or who ultimately is responsible and actually owns that tree. I've seen problems with that still from the last program, that the tree planting, tree replacement program. And I feel like with this, with the homeowner actually having some stake in paying for the tree, they will also be just as invested in the care for that tree. And also the town is also kind of stepping up and showing some, commitment to our right-of-ways that aren't exactly publicly owned. So right now, this is a pretty final draft we've kind of polished up. I know it's not, there's probably some things that could be tweaked a little bit further, but after working with the tree advisory committee throughout this year, we've got it pretty good where we want it. We've also got a flyer to go with it, kind of like a handout, just a quick fact sheet about the trees, get some information out there, and hopefully be able to give this program some exposure. So that's about it. If you guys have any questions for me, feel free.
Forrester Furnace, if you could maybe go into a little bit about how many projected people this program could serve in 2026 with the money allocated right now.
Oh, yes. Sorry about that. I
No,
forgot.
no problem.
So the money for this program, we're not asking for any more money to fund this program. So basically, right now we have $20,000 in the forestry department's tree replacement fund. In general, we don't ever really come close to that $20,000 worth of trees to plant. Just as a kind of like some background knowledge on the last 3 years, we've in general spent about $10,000 out of a $20,000 fund to plant trees strictly for town-owned properties. So that's we came up with about a $10,000 allotment for this tree cost share program that other people can cash in on and use. Basically, it's money the town is already setting aside for planting trees, and we are almost physically incapable of planting that much trees per year without any major changes. So we figured being able to share that with people who are also taking care of their trees would be massively beneficial.
Yeah.
As far as hiring a contractor to plant the tree, does it have to be a contractor that's licensed within the city of Berthoud? It can be any landscaping company. It could be their next door neighbor, their cousin.
I'm sorry, I don't know if we actually have a list of licensed landscapers here in town. I know myself that we have licensed arborist services, but yes, preferably they are licensed to work here in town. One thing like our licensed arborist service is if we start to see contractors that do a very good job, tree planting is actually something I see very often done wrong and incorrectly. I would love to be able to point people in the right direction, although I know sometimes that's not exactly the town's role to highlight certain businesses. But when it comes to something that should be done right. I don't see a problem with supplying at least the list of licensed landscape services.
Well, I feel like since I could see from a resident deciding that they're going to spend their own money and hire whoever they want to plant a tree, right?
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, if we're asking to put public money into these tree replacements, we should be able to dictate who they use, whether that's a licensed arborist or whoever it is, right? Because then we're going to ensure that our dollars are spent and it's going to actually be planted properly, and that tree has a better likelihood to survive than me out there digging a hole and throwing a tree in it. So
Yeah, that is a good point.
that's my only concern. I would say just make sure those dollars are spent. Those trees have the best chance possible to survive.
Yeah, most definitely.
I have a question. Were you done?
Oh, go ahead.
So just a couple points of clarification. You talked about a fund, but essentially is that the budget as well, the 2026 budget? Okay.
Yes.
And then a couple comments. So I have trees like that fall under this, and I water them, and I fertilize them, and I prune them, and I take care of any disease. So I just want to make sure if someone else perpetually keeps their trees keep on dying, and we keep paying for it and keep paying for half of it. They've got some skin in the game. Is there any point or any ramification if there's a habitual problem with somebody who just keeps killing their trees?
Well, seeing as how it'll be through an application, I mean, at most, yes, they could get one tree per year, but I imagine if something fishy is coming up where somebody's constantly, year after year, same tree, it might raise concerns. And the other kind of side effect I really like about this program is they kind of bring us into their tree planting, journey, and that we can provide them resources. Like a lot of times when people plant trees, maybe they're getting information from who knows where online, and this would be a great opportunity for me and the tree advisory committee to be able to, have a dialogue with people and give them our recommendations and our knowledge, and hopefully we can alleviate any kind of return problems we see. A lot of trees need specific care. A lot of sites may have something just kind of unseen to the common eye that a professional could pick out pretty quickly, and hopefully be able to recommend the right tree for that condition, or maybe even recommend that a tree should not be planted here.
Yeah, great. Okay, thank you very much. And then I live on a public road,
Mhm.
and I've got a sidewalk, and then the place where the trees are, and my metro district sends out letters to any neighbor who's got a dead or missing tree, threatening fines, et cetera, to replace those trees. Does this supersede that, or is that a whole different scenario?
It wouldn't supersede that.
Yeah.
That Metro District can impose those fines.
So the metro district can override this and say, we're going to expect people to replace their own trees.
They will have, anybody is going to be free to take care of, to participate in this program. The town isn't going to weed out folks from metro districts.
So this, I'm just going to restate what I think you said. So just use me personally, because I'm there. If one of my trees dies, then the town will pick up half the cost to plant and replace my tree. That, even though I'm in a metro district. Is that an accurate statement?
You can apply for it.
Yep.
Well,
because you're $10,000. You're talking, and $400 a whack. You're talking about 25 trees total. So it's going to be an application process, right? Once you've expended those funds, you're done for the year.
No.
Potentially, no.
No. How do you discriminate?
What he's saying is, we're going to cap it at 10,000 per year.
So how do you tell? Is it first come, first serve?
Yes, and it is a first
So
come,
I'm the
first
guy
serve.
who you go over 10,000, my trees die, and you tell me no because you've already gone over 10,000. I'm not being facetious.
Next year.
I'm being totally serious.
Yeah. Well, the other thing too that we'll probably take into consideration in this program is that we're going to definitely advise on planting seasons. Another big problem I see just in general is just because it's summer and things are growing, a lot of people think that you can plant a tree in 100-degree days of June and
Sure.
July, and that is actually a super stressful thing on a brand new tree. So we're going to try to stick to Berthoud's planting standards, which have a planting window. And so maybe in our outreach, we say, accepting applications for the spring
Okay.
planting season, and then, planting in the middle of summer it's not impossible. It's just not very well advised. And then we'll have a fall planting season that we'll probably, maybe do a little rush of,
Yep. So again, in my neighborhood, there's a parkway that comes down on a public streets, and X percentage, which is higher. I can't believe how many die, but tons die. Would this program participate in replacing those trees?
What we worked on, the wording on that is that it's available. One tree is available per property owner per year.
Okay.
So somebody can't replace all of their street trees in 1 year, if they have a mass die-off.
That property is owned by the Metro District, so would they be classified as the owner so they'd get one tree, technically?
That is something, we're trying to
Again,
weed out.
I'm the president of my Metro District. People ask these questions. I just want to make sure
it
I'm
is a
saying
good
the right
question.
answer to them.
And some of these questions are great because, in asking myself, like, how would this work? It's hard for me to conceive of every single possibility that can pop up. There's so many possibilities within this town alone that I just want to make sure it's inclusive enough, but also that it's not going to be taken advantage of by specific, unique circumstances, basically.
Well, I think by capping the budget too, like it's going to give you, if we prove this, is that you'll have the opportunity to kind of like learn and find the pitfalls, right? I think that's where the old program got to be pretty burdensome because it was kind of wide open, right? So I like the way you're going at this for sure.
Thank you.
Just a quick question. Does the town assist with tree removal?
No,
Beyond?
no, not currently.
And we don't. Our folks don't actually do the work. That they never replant a tree themselves. That's not part of their job.
Well, that's why we wanted to include the planting service as a part of this, because we know that, paying for a tree is one thing, but then the price of planting can be another part of that process. And we definitely didn't want to exclude that and make, people that do not have the means to plant a tree feel excluded from this program. And so from doing a little bit of call rounds to landscaping services, nurseries, kind of getting a general price of the cost to plant a tree is kind of where we settled on $400. It's kind of about 50% of the cost. To plant
$400 is the price to plant it. Is that what you're saying?
And the tree.
Oh, and the tree.
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
okay.
That's 50%. We assumed about $800 to $1,000
Got it.
to plant a tree.
That sounds realistic.
Yes. So that's about 50% of an average tree replacement.
Okay. Thank you.
Other questions? Okay. Thank you. Any trustees, any comments for one another, or anything to think about?
I mean,
move on this.
I'll jump in real quick. I did have some comments, at least from my perception, and I don't know if Furnace agrees with me, but I feel like the tree committee was very supportive of this program. We've brought it up multiple times. They definitely had time to comment on this. I think we have a pretty well formalized document, which definitely mirrors what we're doing with the sidewalk program. And I know we've all talked about this as a board for a long time, so I'm really happy to see it come to fruition, and hopefully it's a really successful program in 26. So I'm supportive.
Yeah. Well, and I appreciate all these questions because, again, in no means did I print this out and say this is the perfect program. I love hearing all perspectives because I imagine we'll have some tweaking within the first year. Maybe we do find some things that need to be added to the wording just to kind of tie up any loose ends that might have been overlooked in this first draft. So I appreciate all the comments and questions.
Awesome. Anyone want to move on this?
I'll move to approve the 2026 street tree replacement cost share program.
Second.
All right. Trustee Albrecht has moved. Trustee Wing is seconded. Clerk, can we have a roll call vote?
Trustee Wing?
Yes.
Trustee Hardy?
Yes.
Trustee Ayers?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Albrecht?
Yes.
Trustee Brody?
Yes.
Mayor Karsbeck?
Yes. Thank you for your Forester Furnace.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very
Very
much.
welcome by all of us, and
Good work.
appreciate all your work on that.
Thank you.
we are cooking. Okay, item number 7 here. Final item of our regular agenda tonight is the Richardson Park design, pool, and phasing change order by our Deputy Town Administrator, Jeremy Olander.
Thank you, Mayor Carspec and trustees. I'm going to try to do this from here if you allow me to do that. This item is the pool phasing and rephasing of the Richardson MVP Park design. And we're requesting kind of a continuation of earlier meetings that took place this month in November. So earlier this month, on the November 4th, if you recall, we had a study session of the board to talk to and discuss through park priorities. From that kind of direction, from that study session was to kind of wait until the following night that the port committee met on November 5th and allow them to kind of discuss through what we all talked about at the study session, and then make any recommendations and bring them back to the board of trustees. So they met on November 5th to discuss that study session and those park priorities, and they came back with 2 recommendations for y'all tonight in a regular meeting. And the first one is the Arboretum. Arboretum remains the top priority for the town, and we continue that effort. We continue those efforts to get that underway and as soon as possible to construct that and get those plans done and get that moving next year. The second one is that they recommended the board proceed with plans for an outdoor pool at Richardson Park, MVP Park, with additional items as recommended. The committee agreed those recommended items, and many of these were an 8 lap lane pool, and associated competition equipment, 0 depth entry, and a deep end with a diving board. So the next steps to kind of accomplish that would bring it tonight to kind of a formal decision for the above, that we would continue to work with our consultants at DTJ with our existing contract to repackage that initial phasing plan to include that pool into the first phase, and then incorporate the pool recommendations above and finish those pool design plans to full construction documents. And so I just put a little bit of kind of context for the future schedule, kind of a draft timeline about the project. In December, if we got approval, pending approval, we'd begin the work to finish up those construction drawings with DTJ. In January, in a meeting to be determined in January, we'd update that cost estimate, send any updated designs to the port committee, including any cost saving measures of any sort. And then in February, we'd come back here to a board meeting to discuss those potential financing commitments of the park project. So tonight we're just asking for the change order to finish those plans. We're not committing to build the park, or you're not committing to build financing for the park. I just want to make that, maybe if that wasn't clear, but tonight's just the change order to finish those plans and get them ready to bid if we choose to and we'll bring those before we do that for your decision on that as well. So hopefully that all makes sense. Then I got one slide. If you've seen this before, I believe. This is just in case you want to understand the phasing and what the proposed change order is going to do. It'll put those 4 ball fields, some parking, and that pool in that phase 1 with some improvements on Berthoud Parkway.
So assuming that this updated construction drawings are only for phase 1, phase 2 we would address, if approved, somewhere down the road, what those costs would end up being for a later date. So just for the whole project costing.
Right.
Two phases.
So this is to change phasing. So actually phase 2 is done, is completed as construction documents. The last little bit was the pool, because at that time the pool was phase 3. We put pause on that at 65 as we were working through it. We've been working with DTJ since 2021. Early last year, there was a pivot to, and we've worked through this, that this pool was in a later phase than desired. So we pushed pause and we started working on a different location, and then we've worked through that. We've come back, and so my point is that the construction documents, the plans are done except the little bit left of the aquatics or the pool to finish the entire park. However, in this proposal, we're finishing up. To do that, there's lots of layers to these plans that are done. So to go back in and restructure the phasing is what this is, and then to finish the aquatics.
Right.
What's left to incorporate those last changes of the 8 lanes and the 0 entries there, but the deep well and things like that, and then to finish up those designs. So hopefully I answered that. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
a little
for
wordy.
sure. No, that was great. Thank you.
So to clarify, we're changing the phasing, but we're only focusing on the pool structure as far as the redesign or the getting the construction documents fully designed.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yep.
And then I'm just trying to understand the financing side. I know we're not talking about that tonight, but is this implying that there will be 2 financing phases of this park? Does that make sense?
That's kind of what I was asking as well.
Oh, I was thinking it'd just be one.
Like when we come back in February and we
I think the intent is to do phase 1, and I think what Chris has showed previously is to do phase 1 in his draft estimates that you've seen me prior. So it would be for phase 1 is what we would come back at a future meeting in, excuse me, I believe it's February. Yeah, those financing commitments would be for phase 1.
So we
to construct phase 1.
So we would come back and approve phase 2 potentially at a later date because, of course, those costs are going to change tomorrow.
Later, yeah.
Right. Okay.
Well, and for the record, I think it would be helpful to have all of that in one package to begin with, to know what costs we're looking at in today's world of construction. If we're going to talk about a big ask like $30 million for this project, I would just like to know what phase 1 and 2 costs in that conversation, if that helps.
So you want costs for phase 1 and phase 2?
I do personally want to know, because if I know that if we make this commitment, there's going to be less funds down the road for phase 2, and it's not really on, it potentially will go way down the road, decades, and funding available for that phase 2. So I'd like to know if it could be in conjunction all at the same time as one full project, or if we really do need to break it out. Does that make any sense to anybody else?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Does that make sense?
No, I understand.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Thank you.
Any other thoughts here, Mayor Pro Tem?
I had a number of questions before we proceed. Chris stated at the November 4th meeting that we were at 60% design for the pool, whereas the change order here states that we're only in design development. So that would mean construction documents are at 0% on the pool, correct?
No.
And why does it say different in the change order?
Can you, if you want to reference a sentence, or I can help. The
pool
pool's
1B would be phase 3 was at DD and it needs to be advanced to 100% CD.
Say that one more time.
In the change order, line 1, it would be 1B. Phase 3 was at DD. It needs to be advanced to 100% CD.
Right. So that's the pause at 60%. So that is right. So 65% is probably just right out of DD. That is correct. So
that's what I'm talking about.
Yep,
Just
yep.
the pool section, right, is at design development, so we don't have construction documents for that portion.
That's what we're asking, to further that effort.
Okay.
We don't have total construction documents, no.
Diving into the phase 2 improvements, has there been any staff discussion on what is exactly included in that? I know we've got the site kind of sectioned off. Is there a list of amenities that are included on that, and is there a projected timeline of any kind on phase 2?
There is a list of if I can get to it. There is a list of amenities in there. There's always been a list of amenities. It's just the two ball fields you see. There is a playground and another water feature. There's that open lawn space we've talked about. It's always been designed. We've been through the construction documents, and probably like I said, we've been working since 2021. Those amenities are all listed in there, and they've been designed and into full CDs.
Okay.
So those haven't changed, and I can get those more in detail what those are. But mainly, you'll see the two ball fields to the south in the middle of the phase 2. Towards the east, you'll see a pretty regional playground contribution with an amphitheater towards the south, towards the reservoir, and an open lawn area, and then kind of a boulder style sit and water feature that's pretty extensive as well in that area.
Okay. And then to follow on that, in the change order, we've got the pump house, which was for the aquatics parking lot in phase 2, will remain a part of the future phase 2 improvements. Just some clarification on that pump house and what that actually is servicing.
So the pump house
That would
is
be 1D, I guess.
servicing because there's 3 bodies of water, or three different pools and the slides. So that's just an added pump house towards to service probably the lazy river style, and that's mainly so that wasn't. I don't know if it was all in the same structure, but to get it closer to the lazy river, and I think it might. That's what that pump house does.
Yeah. An additional line in there that was included, prepping for possible early grading and infrastructure package to get earthwork moving early in 2026. Could you elaborate on that?
Yeah, that's those guys just kind of mirroring that. Our discussion was, hey, from previous meetings that we've had with you all and the port, is that if we can get this project going sooner than later, that's always been the goal.
Okay.
So what that means is, hey, if you'll see above that as well, they're also stating, hey, we understand that you guys are trying to push this as a board or as a community or as a decision making per approval that we're targeting. They're just suggesting that they're targeting to be done by spring. If we can get done by spring, we would consider that, get going, and then we could start in parallel, maybe start moving some of the earthwork while we finish up some of the other stuff.
Okay.
So we'd get a opening in 2027. They're just suggesting that.
And what would early mean, I guess, month-wise, on a timeline of this project?
Early when
it
something's
says early.
completed, or when we start?
If that were even entertained as a possibility, what kind of months would we be looking at to starting grading and earthwork?
I mean, an estimate that we've kind of mentioned with them, they think somewhere in late March, maybe early April.
Yeah.
It would be, I think they said that they could get to.
And I think that's all, Sean, all dependent on, one, if we approve it, and two, what's the funding mechanism? Is a COP, or do we put this to the voters? And obviously that would dictate when the project will start.
Sure.
So,
And that was to get the plans done. I'm sorry. Yeah.
No worries.
Yep.
And then the last question I had regarding hourly rates of service for partners, principals, staff, senior designers. Why don't we have those dialed in? Why is it such a wide range for an hourly rate on that in the change order?
Those come from those guys. When you say dialed in, that's
why
their
don't we
rates.
have a specific hourly fee for that included in the contract?
You're saying because like it says a range of 80 to 200. Right?
Yes.
I saw that.
Yeah.
You could ask them for
What?
that. You could ask them to assign.
Yeah.
To assign
We can. Yeah. We can do
people
that.
within that range.
Just in my experience, typically it's good to have the people you're going to be probably working with on that and an actual fee tied to each one of those individuals on a project like this.
Yeah. We can do that. Yep.
Okay. That's all I've got for questions. I
Thank you.
guess.
Trustees, any other questions? I apologize. You mentioned where's the money coming from, Jeremy? Do you know what account?
Huh?
Do you know what account this money is coming from?
Yes.
It's the 614.
Historically, it's come from a little bit of the 98 fund in some regard, and then the 1%, 2019 1% fund, and the park development and some general fund. Moving forward, tonight's change order approval, pending approval, would come out of, Chris has mentioned those capital funds and he's stating 60, and some of it will come out this year and next year. If I could go back to Trustee Murphy's question, the reason those rates is because those are three different positions, and what they're just saying is this is their standard term. So when they're just saying, hey, there's a partner, I guess they could. You're right. They could list them each individually. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
I didn't want to argue. I just
Absolutely.
when I saw it, I was like, they're just giving a range of three different positions, but you're saying to list those positions, and I would agree with that.
More typical would be to have the principal on the project as well as supplementary staff typically listed.
You're right.
You know, their resume, their experience, and this is who's probably going to be working on this most of the time, right?
That's typically how we normally see it, is listed. So thank you for catching that.
Yeah.
I'll have them adjust that.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay. Let me open this up to the public. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak to this? Please, sir, if you could come in front.
Since we're getting into the specific design phase, I wanted to offer some thoughts about lap pool design.
Yeah. You mind stating your name and address real quick?
Yeah, Bill Heinman, 1191, Blue Gavi Court. So you've got an 8-lane pool and walls obviously on either side. Lanes 2 through 7 should be 87 inches wide. Lanes 1 and 8 should be 100 inches wide. Because when you have competition, competitors don't swim against a wall. So what you do is you put in 13 inches in from each wall, you put in a wave suppressant lane line. That way all of the lanes are equal. Very, very important. That's the main thing I wanted to get at. If you want to see that, a beautiful example of it, I swam all summer in Steamboat Springs. Steamboat has a brand new pool complex, multi-pool complex, but they have a lap lane pool. Does not have a diving board, but it has blocks and everything else. It's 4 feet deep to 9 feet, 4 feet deep. But they have the lane lines as I just outlined. If you want to have especially adults, but if you want to have masters and you want to have youth, all using the same pool for possible competitions, which I talked to Luke today, and that sounds like a good possibility. Then I urge you to tell your consultant to follow these specifications in building this pool. And I look forward to swimming in it.
Yeah, I drive to Steamboat every morning to swim laps in it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We just happen to have a place in Steamboat. I would mention, too, if my 3 minutes is enough, this morning I went, they're training lifeguards. So lane 1 is occupied by 12 individuals trying out to be lifeguards. Lane 3 was just a lady swimming. And lane 2, the middle lane was a man. And then a handicapped lady came, and she had to wait until they got through lifeguard training. So all I'm saying is this is a heavily used pool for a lot of different purposes, and 3 lanes just doesn't cut it. That's all. Thanks for your time.
Is there anyone else? All right, I'll close public comment. Deputy Administrator, do you have anything to add on that? Do you mind bringing that up with them? See what they think about the buffers?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, back to the board here. Put down the line and see how we feel. Start out with Trustee Wing.
No questions.
No questions? Any comments? Want to just go for a vote?
Yep.
Anyone want to read off the vote, or anyone make any final comments here?
Well, I think it's, especially with the angst we've had over some of these larger public projects lately with the public, that, tightening up the numbers will help ease some of those potential anxieties, whether this project gets pushed forward or not. I think it's the right thing to do.
And just, a final comment too. I really do think having the full picture will help the public as well, because if we're scaling this pool kind of down in a way, and we're leaving out some of those other water amenities that may dissuade them from wanting to fund this project. So they may want to see the full scope and if we are going to a ballot or not to get their buy-in. It might be good to have the full picture and timeline of how we can make that happen. So I think just having two options perhaps of phasing or the full scope. Can we finance it? And what are those specific numbers? What are we looking at? And then we can have that financial discussion, I think.
There's anything to add?
Yeah, nothing to add. I mean, obviously this is a lot of money, but the pool design is going to be expensive. Whatever location we put any future pool in, and I think having a full picture is important. It's just kind of unfortunate that it costs so much just to get the plans. But I mean, I guess there's no other way around it, right? Having that full picture is kind of the make or break for a lot of people, I think. So
We know what the backlash is if we don't spend money to get plans. So I think it's just fair all the way around. Let everybody make a clear decision.
Other thoughts? I agree with you, Trustee Brody. I think it's no matter how we feel, just getting more firm numbers here makes sense. And it is the cost to participate, is to get these accurate numbers costs a lot of money. I agree. It's unfortunate. Mayor Pro Tem?
I have a few thoughts, and I've been thinking on this for quite a while. And if you'll indulge me, I'd like to kind of give like a short speech on this. For those in the audience that weren't aware, I'm a licensed architect in the state of Colorado. I've worked on dozens of multi-million-dollar projects up and down the Front Range, and I'm proud of the thought, input, and collaboration and process that's gone into each one of these projects. In contrast, I feel the proposed execution of this Richardson project, introduced on August 12, 2025, and presented again tonight, is indefensible for me. I've worked on barns and chicken coops in the area that have more thought, public input, collaboration, and process than the currently proposed outdoor pool plan at Richardson. This layout, this is a napkin sketch. I would make at a bar with a client, not a detailed plan for executing a regional multi-million-dollar outdoor pool project. This is the start of 6 to 18 month discussion, not the way to allocate tens of millions of dollars. As a licensed design professional, this process crosses ethical boundaries for me as a professional. This proposal genuinely scares me from a design and budgeting standpoint, and it makes me question how we move forward on capital projects in the future. I won't defend the Richardson project, and I will be voting no on this project. I honestly don't want to be associated with this project in any way, shape, or form if it proceeds in this manner. I also feel it's my professional duty to inform the public what's happening here. I want an outdoor pool, ball fields, and an amphitheater, just like the rest of us. From my professional experience, I don't need to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars here tonight on design fees to see where this is headed. I fear that to arrive months from now at a design and a budget like this and to pretend that we have sunk too much time or treasure into this process to turn back would be a mistake. This board is at another turning point and still has many alternative fiscally responsible options for how to proceed on this matter. After personally seeing the blowback and the likely collapse of the H&S and OCO project and seeing where the Richardson proposal is going, I believe we need to stop and think about how we are operating at this point rather than rushing forward. I believe it's time to formalize a design and budgeting process for our capital projects with better public input, committee input, and board input. We need to develop a comprehensive plan and a budget and detailed timelines and deliverables, as is done in the private sector. This would help, I think, with consistency, reporting, and transparency and accountability for the community. I really respect you, Jeremy, and the rest of our staff for working on this, but I really truly believe the people deserve a good process, they deserve accountability, and they deserve to know what they're buying. as a licensed architect sharing my professional opinion for free right now. Please do not do this, board. Please. That's all I'll say for now.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Yeah.
Mr. Wynn?
It seems like we just keep kicking the can down the road, and we've heard testimony from people that generations, full entire generations, have missed out on ballparks, have missed out on other things, and there's analysis paralysis, and there's a point where you go, we've got to make a decision, and here we're talking about doing the design. So we can keep talking about it, and Richardson has been on the agenda for years and years and years. It was one of the first things, whether it's part of the plan originally, the whatever it's called, but I don't we can keep talking. We can come back in 6 months. We can come back in a year. We can come back in 10 years, and just wait until everything's perfect. And the great leaders of the world say it'll never be perfect. So at some point, you got to make a decision. You got to make a call. We're not approving $30 million. We're not approving any money. We're not approving any funding. What we're doing is working on the design. So I would absolutely support moving forward when it comes to motion time and voting time.
Other thoughts?
Go ahead.
I actually have a question to Administrator Olger. Because you guys looked at the proposed Wagner design as well. Do you remember off the top of your head how much that was going to cost to get construction drawings?
About 640.
640.
Yeah, because that's from the start. Yep.
Okay. And is it your experience that with such detailed drawings, I know a lot of work goes into obviously site-specific construction and site-specific engineering, but if a full construction drawing of a facility is done, can that be in any way reused for other locations in the future as a baseline, which would cut future costs? Does that make sense?
A little bit. I would have to say no. I would say they're the design and the work that goes in, because there's so much under the ground that they're working on as part of that design. And that's why I talked about layers. There's engineers and utilities and things like that, and they're building it for that location, that site. So I would say no. The design concept could be transferred and manipulated into the next area. May or may not happen. It depends on how much acreage or footage you transfer to the next property, but definitely not the plans.
Mm-hmm. Do you know off the top of your head what percentage of the plans are engineering and construction, and what percentage are design? Does that make sense?
For what's left at Richardson?
No,
Yeah.
for the cost, right?
For the cost.
The cost?
So let's say we have a pool.
Right.
What percentage of the cost of that project, of the design of that project, is construction, design, infrastructure, that sort of thing?
I mean, that's a good question. I don't know if I could break that out of the deal. I mean, you could take the 614 tonight and make some rational guesses, but some of that's making the rephasing. Some of that money tonight is redesign, is making those design elements to the pool changed ready. That the concept that they said what we could do, to what it can consider. The other part of that money tonight is money we would have spent to finish the plans from 65. And now that looking back on it, yeah, after around 50% is still DD. You're finishing up DD, so we're just past DD at 65, and that's an estimate. So yeah, to finish that, some of the money tonight would be used anyway to finish that design to 100% CDs. I know I didn't answer your question, but
Okay.
I don't think I can.
Okay, sure. That's an answer as well. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just some responses to Pro Tem Murphy. I know we've had previous discussions about the surveys, and I know that it's been said multiple times that this one project would hit every missing component minus one or two things from that survey. And so that to me is public input that we're regarding. And not only us, but Planning Commission or Port has reviewed this for many years, and they were here expressing their concerns that we're not moving forward on some type of project because they've been belaboring this topic for so long. So that is my impression from both the survey as well as Port. As far as the design concept, that is our due diligence of the process of finding out, is this feasible for the community, and can we present to them a project that they can get behind? So this to me isn't ramming something or pushing something. It's moving forward with that due diligence process of saying, let's vet this out as a board and a community on whether or not it's feasible. And if we are concerned about the community being behind it, then we put together a PR presentation on the final design that we agreed to, and we allow them to have some final input before we either make a decision on a COP or we put it to the ballot, which they get the ultimate say, which seems to be a popular notion right now. I also think that a lot of the work on the Richardson Park was done before our time on the board. So we have to understand that there's history there. And whenever I have questions about history, I go to staff and I sit with them and I pick their brains because I see them as the subject matter experts. And I'm sure that staff would love to be in the private sector where they could plan a project and just say go. But unfortunately, they don't get to do that. They have to go through several rounds of bureaucratic process and a lot of different changes and manipulations to the plans, and then they have to keep bringing it back. So I'm sure they would love to do the private sector route, but unfortunately they can't. They have to go through it and change and pivot continuously. Even this year, we've pivoted. This is the third time on this one project. And so the flexibility on their part is probably stressful, but they've done a wonderful and amazing job because this is one of 50 projects, I think, that are sitting on Chris's desk right now. And so I think it helps us come alongside, if we come alongside them and give them that constructive feedback they need to move forward. So in your experience, if you could bring that to the table in these conversations instead of criticism, I think we might be able to move further. Like all I'm hearing is the criticism of the process, but I would like to hear what you would like us to do better. If you think there's something that you would lend to that conversation of specifics, then, and please feel free to reach out to staff and offer that, idea, and they can implement it the way they feel is best. But in general, I think the criticism is just hurting the process, and I would like to have some positive and constructive feedback on this to move forward. That's all I got.
If I could respond.
Please.
The chicken coop and barn I was referring to was the Malchow Farm project that I worked on right outside of town. You may be familiar with it. That was for Larimer County, and we've completed construction documents of all of those buildings, filed a 58-page report that gave a full rundown of the history, the contents, possibilities for that project. And that was just a straight up assessment. That wasn't restoration, renovation, anything like that. That's Larimer County doing that for a couple of barns and a chicken coop. What I'm telling you tonight is, as a professional, this has nothing to do with my personal beliefs on where we should go in the process. This is me as a professional offering you the opinion you all are moving to pay $200 an hour for, to say this does not resemble any kind of professional process that I've been a part of in the private sector, publicly. This is not a process that is acceptable in my eyes
And
as
so,
a professional.
Can I clarify? Are you saying that you don't agree with us approving this project to go back and be redesigned?
I have lost faith in the process that it takes to get these capital projects done currently. And I think we need to reevaluate our process. The HNS is a good example of how we move down a road, and I think it's debatable whether we support or oppose that project. An instance like this, I think, is a really great opportunity to do self-reflection on why we are here. And this project is 10 times the size of the Sunoco project. We are not doing our due diligence on this. It will end in a very bad place. And to look at going forward on this, I think it behooves us as a board to at least have majority support behind one of our two financing mechanisms rather than executing on design fees for hundreds of thousands of dollars without even the chance or the consensus of the board, at least in a preference of one or the other. In my opinion, if this board does not have a majority in support of pursuing a COP or a bond, that would be burning $614,000 on an uncertain result, and that I cannot abide.
I think, if I can just jump in, I think some of this is getting that clarification, getting those numbers. That's what this due diligence process is really bringing in the pros. I do see your point, you know, it'd be, in an ideal world, we want to know that this for sure we want to take up to a COP or to a ballot, but I think until we get the final design, we don't really know any much. So I think I would put this, I mean, I'm not a professional, but I would put this as part of due diligence. And I mean, I remember for Wagner, which I wasn't a fan of at the time, but I moved to approve that. I mean, I agree with the board that no matter what, we'd have those design documents. My argument was, we could keep those down the road. We'd have to update the numbers, but we could keep the design. It cost us $1 million for that thing, which is a big number, but I see value in doing this too. To me, this is irrespective of a COP or a bond. I do get the feeling that the board wants to move with Richardson one way or the other. Otherwise, I don't think we'd be here in the first place. And I think we can't really make that decision until we know a little more clarity of what we're getting.
Yes, could I ask,
Yeah.
how does the final number actually determine the mechanism for financing? When both are...
I don't know. I mean,
that's my question.
I think that's just going to be individual trustees' willingness, if risk tolerance, or how much they want this, or how much they want the public to look at this. We have to look at the interest rates. I just want to say, as far as doing, I think this is due diligence. Is really rushing this would be just saying, hey, this is great. Let's go for the ballot or COP dueling at the same time as we do this. But I think we're doing this first.
Mm-hmm.
I disagree, because we are doing this on a Tuesday night before Thanksgiving to an almost empty room.
We haven't made a decision.
Yeah, we're not approving. I mean, yes,
We
we're
are
approving the money
$614,000.
to get clearer designs, though, which I agree. When this final thing comes up, but hopefully we do have a full room. We will. I appreciate your opinion.
Yeah, we can't make a decision without firm numbers, so there's no way for me to move forward without knowing that myself.
All right. Well, anything else? Anyone want to move or anything?
I'll move.
Mayor Karspek, could I entertain a motion before this moves in the direction I think it's going to move?
Go ahead.
Thank you. Give me a second. I would like to make a motion to deny authorization for the town administrator to enter into a contract with DTJ Design for the completion of the Richardson Park construction drawings.
Is there a second? All right. Having no second, motion failed.
Thank you, Mayor Karspek.
I move to authorize the town administrator to enter into a contract with DTJ Design for the completion of the Richardson Park construction and support the Port Committee on their recommendation to do so.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Trustee Wing has moved. Trustee Brody has seconded. Clerk, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Trustee Brody,
Yes.
Trustee Ayers,
Yes.
Trustee Hardy,
Yes.
Trustee Albrecht,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Murphy,
No.
Trustee Wing,
Yes.
Mayor Karspek.
Yes. All right. Motion is approved. We do have an executive session tonight, but we will be adjourning from that. We won't be taking any action. So we'll just move on to elected official reports. And we'll start off with, let's go with Trustee Wing.
Yeah, there was a Heritage Lakes Metro District meeting this week, and one of the things that came out of it that I said I would follow up on, and maybe Trustee Ayers, maybe you can give some input on this, but in our board towns study session parks dated November 4th, there's a map, and this map shows up in multiple locations. and it shows the trails in Huron Lakes, and it's on town property where it shows this trail has been completed, and it hasn't. And this is for all of Bertha to use. So I'm just asking what the status is of that. And this seems to be another one of those point in both directions that the Metro District says and the developers say it's the town says it's the developers, but it keeps showing up on maps that it's done and people want it. So I'm just saying, I'm asking what's the status, and people want a kind of a loop to finish that off, and so they keep asking about this.
Hard. You're the president, right? I mean, it's great. You can't point fingers. We got you in the room here, so you're saying that it's not done. Period.
Oh, 100%, it's not done, or I'd be on it.
Administrator Olinger, can we look into that? I mean, I guess we'd have to see Trustee Wing, the particular maps you're talking about.
Yeah,
But
if you
they're
don't
saying
mind me
completed-
getting up, I can point to it on the map
well, it might
if
be
that
better
helps.
to put into. There we go.
Yeah. So see up in you see the dotted line. That's our
Zooming in if possible.
that's our county. That's our Bertha Growth Management Area. So you see, perfect, up where Welch Reservoir is, Lone Tree Reservoir. So to see that little move your cursor just a hair to the right, right there. That thing that exists. That's done. I live on it. And then it loops back around to the right. But where it goes to the left at the top of that, yeah, right there. That's non-existent, and that's what people are asking. Keeps showing up that it's done. Even on the key on this, it says existing neighborhood trail. It doesn't exist. And so I don't know who can own that.
But
or
is
get
that,
some.
sorry, is that the wider trail on the wider sidewalk on the east side of Heron Lakes Parkway?
The little circle is that's what that is, where it comes to essentially a T and it goes right and left.
Mm-hmm.
The right is the sidewalk that's a large trail that runs behind the back of all the houses. Yep. The left that shows on here in orange does not exist.
I think that's the sidewalk.
No,
because if you look at the little T up there, that's where down by Donzante Bay and all that. So it actually runs along Heron Lakes Parkway.
Yeah, the sidewalk is designated as the trail.
Based on what this is showing, there is no sidewalk there. There's nothing there. That's it might even look like finished roads in here, but it doesn't go out like that. Are you saying this is a sidewalk?
Yeah. So
in the Rookery,
when you're headed north on Heron Lakes Parkway, the sidewalk on the left side of the street is wider than on the north side of the
That's
street.
correct. I plow it every snowfall.
That's the trail. It's not supposed to go along.
I understand, but what I'm saying is, the part to the left doesn't connect to where this is showing. There is no sidewalk there. There isn't anything there, unless you're saying this is the road inside the Rookery or the sidewalks inside the Rookery.
No,
I wonder if someone could come out and take a look at it.
Yeah, I think if there was a street overlay too, it would help us see it.
It was supposed to go into literally not the Rookery development, the Rookery.
Right.
But it's controlled time wise. You can't go in there all year long, but still there's nothing over there. So I'm just asking, and I'll be happy to spend time with the town to walk around it.
We can get you an update. We can follow through.
That'd be good to know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously,
We can get some detail.
a whole room full of people wouldn't be asking for something if they thought it existed, so they keep asking for it. So there's obviously confusion there.
Yeah, because I was wondering why one side of the sidewalk on Heron Lakes was wider than. I just asked that question, like, was it for people to drive their golf cart? Like,
no,
I didn't understand what it was.
The years bringing it up for a while.
Yeah.
That's my front yard.
Yeah.
I have the wide.
Yeah, I know what you're
And
saying.
again, I plow it for everyone.
Yeah.
So I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to get follow up. Did you send pictures to
Sure.
Jody or Chris?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll get a response. Yep.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Trustee Hart, is that it?
Yes, thank you.
Just want to update everybody, remind everybody that the holidays are among us, if you haven't figured that out yet. Small Business Saturday is coming up this Saturday. Make sure you get yourself downtown, shop some of the great stores that are down there. Then the tree lighting will be next Saturday after that, and Santa Claus will be at the park to do the tree lighting. But don't forget your small businesses this weekend. You're all out doing your Black Friday stuff. Definitely stay in town Saturday and get some downtown businesses.
Trustee Brody.
Don't have anything this time.
Trustee Ayers.
I don't have anything. There's a port meeting next week, so I'll have updates afterwards.
Trustee Albrecht.
Just December 6th with the Very Merry Birthday. I'm really excited about that combination of organizations in the town coming together, but I did want you guys to know that the Youth Advisory Commission has decided to enter for the Parade of Lights, and so I'm volunteering my vehicle, and wish me luck. If you guys have any extra supplies or know how to make lights work on a vehicle, I'd be very happy to know. So we're going to be doing that, so look for those guys and cheer them on. And then they're also knee-deep in planning their DC trip to go to the National League of Cities. So this will be the first year in March where they get to attend the DC conference as youth and get to immerse themselves in that world. And so they're gearing up for that. And then I also noticed that Administrator Kirk in our last meeting had noted that there's availability for anyone to attend that. It's not just for youth. There is a youth portion, but it's really for all government officials to attend in DC. This is the National League of Cities Conference. And so this goes from, I think, March 14th to 17th or somewhere in that week. So everybody's welcome to attend from what I understood. So we could double check with Chris on that, but that's what I heard him say last week. So I'm holding to it. Actually, a lot of other municipalities, they send their people. So it would be neat to connect with City of Loveland and Fort Collins and their reps too that attend that. So just wanted to give you guys a heads up.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Just bringing up Tree Advisory Committee. We had some budget discussions. We talked about the cost share program. We're working through our calendars, which is working out. We also kind of had a 2025 in review. There was a lot of interest in, going back to the goal setting and mission for the Tree Advisory Committee. Some entertaining of an idea of like an onboarding packet for committee members as something that we can maybe work on in 26. Beyond that, did want to bring up, as for my involvement with Climate Smart Future Ready for Larimer County, I was invited to join their subcommittee on branding. Right now, Larimer County is going through an effort to rebrand Climate Smart Future Ready to make it more acceptable for national and state funding, as well as just to make it a more inclusive message for Larimer County kind of future thinking on climate and disaster management, stuff like that. So, you have any input on that or name changes? Be happy to bring those to the board. It's largely just kind of a exercise in kind of understanding a lot of different perspectives from Larimer County on climate. So that's all I've got.
Okay, thank you. I have no reports. I want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving.
Same.
Mm-hmm.
What a wild couple weeks. I want to thank clerks some more. No matter how we feel about all these initiatives and referendums, man, there's one guy in town that's under a ton of pressure. So thank you.
Thank you.
For, doing your state duties here and being very nonpartisan. And sounds like you've been very formal with no matter how people feel when they're questioning you. Everyone has a lot of respect for the information you provide and your professionalism. Thank you, clerk. Hope you take a long break after this.
6 months.
Christmas, yes. Deputy Olinger, over to you.
Yeah, a couple things we got. Filling out our code compliance department. Christian, we've hired a new officer, Beth Seitz. She came from Larimer County Dispatch and started last week and been training with Teresa and Christian. Some work done. If you've gone by Wagner Farm and the rec center, there's some work being done in the Wagner Farm pond. The trickle channel's been installed. Maybe you guys know about it. I'll stop talking. Just connect in its outlets, help with some cattail, moving that water a little bit better.
So is this going to be a wider channel?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and I don't think there was one in there.
Okay.
Not a
I'll
concrete.
Really bad info then. I'll have to go correct that. Thanks.
Yeah.
It'll be a wide channel. Great.
Christmas lights are going up and turning on.
Cool.
On some of the poles that aren't associated yet with the Very Merry Birthday. But those will be addition to that. save the date for January 15th, 7 p.m. At the main event in Windsor. It's the staff and winter party for staff and you all. You'll get a more formal invitation in the email coming soon, but just to save the date for January 15th, 7 p.m. for the staff and council.
We won't be forgotten this year.
Yeah, we get invited this year.
Maybe that was by design.
Chris and I are inviting you.
I can say that because Lexi's gone. I know she felt terrible. But...
So much
We're gonna
more
invite
for
you twice this year.
Thank you.
Couple things in Ann's department, passing the land use codes, the chapter 30 recently. Her and her team have been working on housing diversity plan and adoption of land use code, and you guys passed that at the November 10th meeting. The town was awarded $50,000 from the state to be used for affordable housing. The fund usage for this is pretty broad, so they're going to work with the state in a meeting next week or in the next couple of weeks to determine those parameters, and they'll bring that to you all in early 2026. So that's good news for her. In parallel with that, Christian was working with Municode to get it published, and I guess the deal he said, if working with those folks, is if it was published by the end of this year and he got that done, it would be free for us. That's a cost savings effort of about $7,000
Nice.
For doing that. So that's kudos to the Ann and Christian and their teams. Another last one for Ann, the ADU update, ADU compliance is in the final stages with the state. They submitted paperwork, or we submitted paperwork for builders to have access to ADA funds for the state, and she'll have more information when that's completed as well, I'm guessing. So those are what I have tonight. So thank you for allowing me to sit and
Nice job.
Great job.
Thank you, Jeremy.
warm the seat a little bit.
Put you under a little pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Great job.
appreciate it.
Attorney Smith, anything?
I have nothing, Your Honor.
Okay, great. Chief, I knew you're out. Do you have anything? Okay.
Y'all should have received an email from me with an invitation to the Sheriff's Office annual holiday luncheon this next Friday on the 5th from 11 to 1 p.m. So I'd like to have you all come in and join us for a holiday dinner with us. So
Great.
The FOP Lodge sponsors it alongside the Sheriff's Office. So
Thank you. For that.
Thank you.
Thank you. I want to give one more shout out, and that's to Ann and the planning team. I had a business approach me about wanting to add essentially a shipping container structure for a kitchen, to add a kitchen to their building. And I guess they previously received some bad information, but I thought, hey, before bringing this up under reports, to have staff look into this, why don't just reach out to planning and see what they think. And Ann scheduled a meeting with that business owner the next day, invited me, which is very nice, and had the whole plan laid out. And then by the time I got home, there was already an email to that business owner, and then particular responsibilities for them on who to contact and other staff to contact them. I just want to say how incredibly impressed I was, and I really, I think made the town look incredibly good, and it was just awesome to see.
Cool.
Instead of working at the speed of business, this kind of business trying to keep up with the speed of government, which is not something you hear much. So thank you for doing that.
Thanks, Ian.
That's awesome.
Can I just add, I feel like of all the years that I've been in here, this year I just am so overwhelmed with gratitude for our staff. And not because it wasn't great before, but because it just, everything keeps getting better and better. And despite our lapse in ability to convey that to the community, I want you to know that those of us that are in this room see it. Like, holy cow, leaps and bounds, amazing communication, amazing efforts, amazing projects. I just feel like we are doing great things, and I can't wait for the community to know what they are. So I'm thankful for you guys tremendously. So that's it.
Well, good. What a good note to end on. All right. From here, we're going to move into an executive session. Would anyone like to make the motion?
Pursuant to CRS Section 24-6-402F and not involving any specific employees who have requested discussion of the matter in open session, any member of this body of an elected official, the appointment of any person to fill an office of this body or of an elected official, or personnel policies that do not require the discussion of matters personal to particular employees. And the following details are provided. Town Administrator Annual Evaluation.
There's a second.
Second.
All right, Trustee Ayers has moved on the executive session. Trustee Wing has seconded. Clerk, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Trustee Hardy,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Murphy,
Yes.
Trustee Wing,
Yes.
Trustee Brody,
Yes.
Trustee Albrecht,
Yes.
Trustee Ayers,
Yes.
Mayor Karsbeck.
Yes. All right, thank you, everyone. Let's meet again in the back room there.
Oh, back room south.